So one thing I want to go to now is 2020 has been a watershed year, not only for other things medical, it's also been a watershed year for issues around diversity and inclusion. And I'm curious, what's been your voyage in terms of diversity and inclusion for you? Do you think you've ever been victim to any form of discrimination, racism? That's to you. And what do you bring forth in your leadership towards other people around you? How you deal with diversity and inclusion?
Yes, I don't know if I've ever been victim of racism or discrimination, but from my perspective, I never felt it. I think anything that I went for and I didn't get it simply because I didn't merit it. I was not supposed to get it, and everything that I got simply because I was supposed to get it. I was the right person at that moment to do it. So I don't think I've ever been victim of racism per se. So no, and I'm a big supporter of diversity, and I do try to do that. It's not always easy when you lead an institution, whether it is this one or any other institution, any other position, leadership position I had. It is difficult to reconcile sometimes the technical requirements for a position or to have a person, and then this other diversity requirement. But it is something that I fight very hard to make sure that I include in my leadership.
It's a balancing act.
Absolutely.
I'm really hearing you. It's a balancing act. Okay, thank you. So the other aspect I want to talk about is mental agility. It's very important.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the whole learning process. What do you do to keep learning individually and as a leader?
So that's learning for me is an every single day process. Every time I tell you, I'll give you an example. English is not my first language. So it's true. I went to take English classes, passed the TOEFL, and did the training in English and so on. But that doesn't necessarily make you perfect in English. Every time I interact with someone, with a native English speaker, I improve with my English abilities. I learn a different and nicer way of saying things, shortcut, and I improve my vocabulary and my structure and so on. So every time I interact with people, every time I'm engaging in performing a task in Ludi, I actually learn. And for me, at this stage right here, I learn better by observing, by listening, by actually observing good role models. I mean, if I have the opportunity to see someone in a great leadership position and that embodies some of the values that we talk about, to me, it is an excellent learning opportunity. It is an excellent way to learn.
So one question I get asked from leaders all the time is presenting oneself, getting up in front of a room. What's your secret to great presentations and nice impacts?
Not. I don't know if I'm good at standing in front of people. I tell you what. I learned that my level of comfort standing in front of people depends on the topic and the language that I'm using. So interestingly, things that I learned for the first time in French, for instance, I'm a lot more comfortable to talk about them, to speak about them in French. Things that I learned for the first time in English, I'm a lot more comfortable to talk and speak about them in English. So that is what the reality is. And also, I at first when I started having opportunities to stand in front of groups and make presentations and debriefings and so on, I have to say that I was nervous, and I'm still nervous. I mean, I don't know if there is anyone there who wouldn't be nervous, but definitely I'm nervous because I want to do a good job. I want to make sure that whatever message I am in charge of conveying is properly conveyed, understood, not misinterpreted, and so on. So I'm always nervous. But I think what is helping me nowadays is to say that at this level, people care more about the content of what you're saying than, let's say, than the English, the language structure, and so on, and everything. When you're in an international setting, it is expected to have people from multiple backgrounds, people from different, coming from different geographical regions with different language skills, and so on. I think people care more about the content of what you say, and that helps a lot.
So you're not a perfectionist when you get up in front of a group?
Oh yes. I like I said earlier, every time you do something, you learn, you improve. So when I do a public interview or I do press briefing or whatever, this time right after it, so people who helped me prepare, people who helped me put it together, usually we debrief, and I usually ask what didn't go well. It's good to know what went well, but that is not going to help me. It's even more helpful to know what I need to improve on. So that is very helpful.
So you have an after action review and debrief?
Absolutely.
Great.
Yeah. So you see what just happened right now. So I just described a process, and you just summarize it so well, and that's a line that I pick up and that I will use next time I'm asked to do that. To speak about that. So it's a continuous learning, it's a continuous improvement process.